on to the valedictory address. So, you know, after all this time, I can't believe we finally made it here. I feel like it's been a long time. So first, I definitely would like to say a couple of thank yous. Dora, if you know what I mean. Seriously though, first of all, I'd like to thank all of you, obviously. First for nominating me, and then for selecting me to represent all of you as your valedictorian out of 75 people who could just as easily be standing up here right now. And I wanted you all to know how much I appreciate this. So I thought I'd just give you a bit of about a 30-second snippet to help you understand how much this honor means to me. I grew up in a very small town in British Columbia as the third eldest in a family of 12. Some maybe didn't know that. And if you ask those kids in that town where I grew up what they wanted to do when they grew up, what they dreamed about, there's probably three things that came to mind. The first would have been polylogging, the second, driving a truck, and the third would have been winning the Stanley Cup. And I can tell you that I only shared one of those dreams with those other kids. And I never would have dreamed that one day I might graduate, especially as valedictorian, from one of the most prestigious programs and one of the most prestigious institutions in Canada. I can tell you that this moment, being able to stand up here in front of all of you, is the thing I am the most proud about in my entire life, with one exception. And that's being married to my friend, partner, supporter, and champion, Deidre. I think all of you know that she's just as much a reason for me being up here as anything I've done. So thanks. Almost exactly 1 year ago, 75 people gathered in the atrium of Goods Hall. Although if you're like me, it feels a little bit more like 5 years ago. But what I recall of that gathering is how awkward I felt. and how I kept repeating a mantra in my head. Something that went along the lines of, what the bleep am I doing here? You can fill in the blank. And I remember Drs. Carson and Blake standing up and speaking about Queens and teamwork and what a transformational experience we were going to have. And I have to admit, I was a little skeptical. But over the next few weeks, we were teamed up, we were bombarded, we were psychoanalyzed, and we were introduced to that most wonderful team-building exercise known as Point 4. Oh, you're not supposed to slap your own please. Over the course of the next 8 months, we worked our asses off. And our teams became more than just a part of a marketing brochure. They became a part of who we are. Through the course of the year, through our efforts, through our struggles and our triumphs, we have been transformed. Of course, we've learned the technical knowledge required to be considered an MBA. I think we've seen enough 2x2 matrices and discounted cash flows to validate that. But what we've really learned is how to lead and to be led. How to take a group of people from different nationalities and with different personalities and turn it into a well-oiled machine that can tackle nearly any challenge. These are not skills that can be learned online or through a textbook, but only through trial and experience. We, each of us, now has the ability to step out from here, this safe place, and walk confidently into the real world, comfortable in ourselves and our abilities, comfortable working with, for, and leading others, and perhaps most importantly, with the knowledge that should the time come that we need help, there are 74 others standing right behind us, ready with a shoulder to cry on, an arm to lean on, a joke to pick up our spirits, or a smile to share. We have 74 friends. In my estimation, it is friendship that has been the ultimate benefit of our time here. if you do the math, we've essentially spent $60,000 and come away with 74 friends. That's just a little bit under $1,000 a friend. Friends that have shared experiences and shared understanding. It's a very good investment. Especially given the economic uncertainty we are facing. I'm sure that a year and a bit ago, when we all signed up for this program, none of us thought that we would be graduating into a market where jobs are scarce and the value of MBAs has been called into question. But that is the situation. And at times like these, the value that friends provide may be the difference between success and failure. So I've never performed a valedictory address before, and hadn't had the opportunity to hear one either. So I did what anyone would do in that situation. I looked it up on Wikipedia. While I was doing that, I discovered an interesting thing about the roots of the word. Turns out that valedictorian comes from the Latin valedicere. Sorry if the pronunciation's not very good. Which means to say farewell. So I thought to myself, well, that's pretty disappointing, pretty depressing. It sounds like I'm saying I'll never see any of you again. And that would make this valedictorian address more bittersweet than sweet. A bit like the difference between marmalade and jam. So I've chosen to break with tradition a little bit and to say, see you soon, instead of farewell. Since I'm sure that saying see you soon is a little more accurate, and since it'll just make me really sad to think otherwise. In a little over a week, as we venture out, and each of us makes our mark on the business world, and the world in general, as we work to better the lives of ourselves and our families, think back now and then to the times we've shared here at Queen's, and conduct yourselves with the grace, dignity, and ethical standard expected of a Queen's MBA grad. And above all, if ever any one of you should need a friend, you know where to look. Thank you, and see you soon.